Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monkey Flip Podcast. If you're wondering what the weird look on my face was, I was getting the silent hand signal to 4, 3, 2, and on 2, there was a sound. That it's claimed to be the chair. I do not believe it was the chair, but in any way, shape, or form.
It was the chair.
I don't think it was the chair.
It was the chair.
That used to be my chair. I don't remember making that sound unless I was the one making the sound. So, enough about that. As conspicuous by his absence is Hammer, a little bit under the weather. It happens. We're old people. We get sick. So he was not feeling well and didn't want to run the risk of maybe if he had something that was contagious, giving it to everybody else. So we decided maybe Sheila and I would go this one alone today. Not really. It was really early in the morning, so didn't have enough time to scrape up another co-host. Hank is still recovering, I believe, from an operation that he had. Hoping he gets better soon, can go back to us and contribute as he always has. And looking forward to it, having all of us together again. But you get Sheila and I because if we get sick, we're gonna give it to each other anyway. So
True.
So
True.
That's just the way that goes. So it's been a little while since we've done this. There's been some good things that have happened along the way, and AEW is the best thing that's happened. I mean, I've said that before. And if you haven't seen the Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson match, Google exists, YouTube exists. Go find it. It's good. It's worth watching. It's kind of a clinic. My favorite part about it was at the beginning when everything was happening, the crowd was going nuts, and I saw Kenny Omega start to slow things down. You could actually see him slowing things down to get the crowd down so they could build them back up quickly. Beautiful. It was a great thing. Another thing you should watch, Jungle Boy versus Adam Cole. Great match. Incredible match. Everything was there. They told an incredible story. Even with the nuances of the new wrestling that I don't like, it was still a great story. They did a great job. The best job I've seen on TV in a long time, or in pay-per-views. So, we don't really, we start the show, we don't really have an agenda per se. What we usually do is Sheila and I watch wrestling, Rob watches wrestling, Jeremy watches wrestling, and then we come up with things to talk about. But me and Sheila, she watches wrestling and she takes notes, and I'll shout notes over to her. She'll take them down, or she'll take her own notes, and then we just build a show off of that. So that's kind of what we did this time. But it's been a month, so some of those notes don't really make any sense. So what we decided was we figured it would be funner if we just did that on the cuff. And we're going to decide whether we do or do not want to talk about that thing. One change in our format that I'm going to mention, neither Rob nor I will comment on women's wrestling, and the reason isn't because we don't like women's wrestling. Nothing can be farther from the truth. The problem comes in is that no matter what I say or Rob says, someone will construe it as misogynistic. So if there's a woman wrestler out there that we don't like, and you guys know I don't like Io Shirai, and it's not because she's a woman, it's because I think she's way overhyped. I said that I really enjoy watching Penelope Ford, and I get comments like, there's 2 reasons you like Penelope Ford. You like Penelope. No, she's a great wrestler. She does a great job in communicating what she's doing and the story of the match. Thunder Rosa is one of my favorite wrestlers. If I say anything about that, people are like, yeah, your favorite wrestler because she's a girl and she's hot and you want to fuck her. No, that's not what that is. Maybe, but beside the point. So we're not going to comment. We're going to leave that up to Sheila. We may even get like a girls section, and I'll make a little transition that comes through, and then you can take over the show, talk about all the lady wrestling if you want, because they can't view you as misogynistic, I don't think. Can they? Can you do that?
I don't.
It's 2021, so
I think they can do whatever they want to.
Wait, it is 2021, right?
It is 2021.
Okay, COVID.
Still, for a few more months.
Okay, it's pretty close. So yeah, that's going to be one change that we do. We're still looking for interesting content to put out there, so we may do some more of the YouTube stuff. The one chip challenge thing that kicked our butts. We're not going to do that one again.
No.
One thing that came to mind was drunk podcast. One of us.
Just one?
Just one of us. Just one of us will get drunk purposefully, and then it's up to the viewers to figure out who it was. That's something that came to my mind. Kind of a Madcap Moss. What the fuck kind of name is that? A Madcap type of thing we do is like, let's see who's drunk, and then we'll just pan to everybody, and you guys can figure. After we start talking, you can figure out who's drunk. Yeah, that all that's interesting, and to me, and I'm going to try to find something to do. I don't want it to be, hey, this is Bill and this is Jackass, but maybe that's what sells. We'll try to get that going. We'll try to get something going. I don't know. Now that I've rambled at the beginning and said some nonsense and totally confused everybody who was watching or listening with a who asked kind of thing, why don't we go into your notes and see if we can find something to talk about?
My first note is about the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks on AEW All Out.
Wow. Yeah, that was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
We hadn't done a show since then?
No. Well, we did that short one that just said nope and
we really are lazy. Jeez. We're going to lose the 12 listeners. We're probably down to 11 listeners now. 10 after this segment.
This particular note is regarding the cage that they had at All Out, which seemed like it was either too close to the ring or not far enough away from the ring to be safe.
Like Hell in a Cell, where it was back and you can go off the apron onto the floor, but you're still inside the cage. Yes. Okay, yeah, I did notice that. It was a classic cage, which should be close to the edge, but it really should be butt up against the apron. And the reason I say that, and I think it even happened in the match, is there was enough room between the apron and the cage that somebody's foot or ankle could have slipped down in there and it could have injured someone. It didn't. Good. It's good that it didn't, and they ended up injuring each other in other ways. Yeah. But I can see that. It's a billionaire. If he took that note, he's probably got a way to figure that out. So
at All Out, there was I don't remember what the match was called. It was a gambling term where all the girls were coming out in...
Oh, the Casino Battle Royal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had that, and there was a wild card that was set for the end, and I was super excited to see Ruby come out when that happened.
Ruby Soho, yeah. Yes. Well, newly crowned Ruby Soho, yes. I guess. I don't know if she was Ruby Soho before she came to WWE, maybe?
She had changed to Ruby Soho after she... I think before WWE, she was Heather Lovelace. I believe that was her moniker before WWE.
It's a good change. It's a good change.
So I was very excited to see Ruby. I think she's done a couple of really good matches. I've enjoyed the things that I have seen from her so far in AEW.
I can comment on girls wrestling. I just won't be. So the back and forth with Britt Baker was hilarious. It was great.
Yes.
And real. Like one of the first real promos that I've seen in a very long time. And taking it, like MJF and Jericho did it a little bit where they bring real life into it, kind of a roast type situation, but those are real and it's exciting. It's fun. It's not scripted. You don't have to. It doesn't feel like somebody's straining to read what's on a cue card talking to you, WWE. But yeah, it's pretty good.
I was in the other room when that was happening, and I remember my reaction to the screwing some guy,
banging some dude in the back,
some guy in the back. I was just like, oh.
Yeah, it was good.
My next note is that the Jericho versus MJF match, where Jericho initially lost because Aubrey is just a terrible referee and didn't see that his leg was on the rope.
No comment.
So ultimately, they had to restart the match, and Jericho did end up winning so that he didn't have to leave AEW.
Cool.
Which I think he was just going to have to stop wrestling.
Yeah, I think he was going. It was he said, so I'll just concentrate on my announcing duties. So yeah, I think he was still going to be an announcer. We didn't know. We were all like, oh, he's got that cruise coming up. Maybe he's going to quote unquote retire. I kind of wanted him to come back and be like a Dusty Rhodes Midnight Rider type gimmick for anybody who's old enough to remember that.
So next, it's still an All Out, but this one is the fact that Adam Cole, as you alluded to at the beginning of the show, Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson both joined the roster at AEW, and I do believe that those two are a big loss for WWE.
So yeah, I think yes, it's a loss, but it's a loss in what could have been. But in Adam Cole's situation, I really don't think there was anything that could have happened any different. I think that home is where the heart is, and he was being used correctly, and everything was going great for him in NXT. He's going to be used correctly, and everything's going great for him in AEW, and he gets to be with friends and Britt Baker wherever they're going and everything. And I mean that it's a no-brainer at that point.
When I say it's WWE's loss, honestly, it's more AEW's gain, because I think that they have a place for those two that they did not have at WWE, regardless of what they could have done with them.
Yeah. And
I know that from an interview that I saw, they had actually talked about changing Adam Cole's name and gimmick to put him on the main roster, and I just think that that's not.
I mean, if going to come back as Barry Horowitz Jr., I mean, yeah, maybe that's not the greatest thing, but you know.
All right, moving on to Raw. The next after the AEW thing. My first note here is, wow, those three fans clapping are making a lot of noise.
Oh. Yeah, I know which one that was. Are you talking about? I think you're talking about when Roman Reigns came out.
No, it was on Raw, so it couldn't have been Roman Reigns.
But it was somebody was getting a huge pop, and then they kept showing the crowd. Which why? If you're gonna pipe in noise, stop showing the crowd.
Yeah.
If you show the crowd, we can see that there are not people clapping. We get it. You see Edge, and they don't use the piped in stuff, or the crowd reaction is the same. The illusion's there, and everything's cool. But you're showing the crowd, and you're getting this big, massive amount of boos. It's like when Roman Reigns got drafted the pop for that was amazing. It was on par with like Stone Cold in the mid 90s, and that's probably where they stole the soundbite.
Yeah.
So it was crazy, and they come back and the cheer is still going on, and you're showing the crowd, and they're like, and why should they cheer? Roman Reigns is staying exactly where he was. Why should they cheer?
Right.
Because they don't. It's not any different, and it's also kind of a no-brainer. I keep going off topic in a show that doesn't really have any format or topics. So
I actually said that if the fans want to cheer or boo, they will.
Yeah.
Like give them the chance to actually have their own reactions. Don't tell people how they're supposed to feel.
It's true. It's dangerous for them, in their opinion, is if you see a camera pointing at the crowd and they're getting no reaction, and somebody's doing something to get over and it gets no reaction, they think that means that, oh, people are going to think that their show isn't any good, when it really means their show isn't any good. That's exactly what it means, that their show is not any good. Maybe they should say, okay, how do we get them to cheer? Or, okay, now that we've got somebody out there that they're booing out of the fucking building, maybe we make them a heel and let them boo them out of the fucking building. Hey, let the fans decide what's going on. That's the way the business works, as far as I was told.
I mean, I feel like I don't think that this is later on in my notes. I'm trying to remember. Oh no, it was in the last episode. Okay. So when Becky came back, and Becky and Bianca were wrestling each other, the fans picked who the heel was in that match, and because both of them used to be faces, and Becky kind of took it as, okay, I'm gonna go this way then.
I don't think so.
You don't?
No, I think it was every intention for her to come out and be a heel. And I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I don't look at dirt sheets and stuff like that. But I think it was every intention that she was going to come out and be heel. And the reason that I say that is because she beat that girl in 26 seconds, and she beat her with an underhanded heel move.
Oh,
it was the shake and didn't let her go and kicked her in the gut and did her move and pinned her in 26 seconds. In today's day and age in wrestling, if you're going to have a 26-second match, you've talked about everything and you know how it's going to go. In yesterday's day and age, back in the territories, if you've got a 26-second match, you've talked about everything that's going to happen in the match and the way it's going to go. It's the same thing. So they knew full well what was going to go on when it went down, and she was the heel from the beginning, even though she may not have played it to the mic a lot. Yeah, I think she actually was planning to be a heel the whole time. And I like her as a heel when she doesn't have the opportunity to talk as much as she did Friday.
Yeah, they gave her too much mic.
It was ridiculous Friday, and interrupting, and it overtook the match. I mean, if I'm trying to watch Sasha Banks and
Bianca
Belair. Sasha Banks is in the ring, you've got my attention. She's good. She works really well.
Oh, yeah.
And hardly, never one of those two people meet on the elevator, who gets off, who gets on moments. You know, when two wrestlers are trying to figure out what the next thing was, and somebody got lost, and they're like, That never happens in a Sasha Banks match, because I think when she sees that happening, she's ready for a clothesline or a kick, which is what you should be. If something goes wrong, you should be ready to work off the cuff. That's why when the kids come up to me to wrestle me and they said, hey, let's work out what we're going to do. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like waiting for a finish, and the kid's going off for 45 minutes about this big, long, choreographed scene that he wants to do. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not remembering any of that stuff. Stick with me, kid. We'll figure it out when we get in there. But we had a good match. And I know that's what that comes from. Okay, we had this planned, and I can't remember where we are, and now I grab? No, you grab. Who's grabbing who? Oh, okay, I don't know. It makes it look bad. So
yeah. It also...
What was I talking about? Oh, Becky talking way too much on commentary. Yeah. Let's not give people an entire... Because, first of all, they could have billed that as a screw finish. They could have said right at the beginning of when they put the graphic up, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. I got it. And at the bottom, parentheses, screw finish. Because you knew from the beginning, there's no way somebody's going over clean on that. It's not going to happen. And then when Becky comes out to be at the announce table, it's like, oh, formulaic. 1 + 1 = 2. We know exactly how this is going to end. And it ended that way.
Well, and I noticed she was repeating herself when she was on the mic for the announce table, because she just kept saying, and why do I have to be punished? But it was the same, like the things that followed that were exactly the same every time. And I don't know whether if she had an earpiece in and somebody was piping that to her, which is possible, because I know that they do. You can tell that they do that with the announce team sometimes. Or if she was just, I don't know what to say here, so I'm just going to keep saying this same thing because I know that this is the main point of what I'm saying. I am one to say that there's no such thing as too much Becky. I really like Becky. Even as a heel, I really like Becky. But I want her to be able to be Becky. Even Becky as a heel, I don't feel that that's what she was doing. I feel like she was just regurgitating something over and over again. And I think that she has talent, and she should be able to use that talent to portray the heel that she can be, not I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use here. I think that she can portray the heel that she wants to be, not the heel that they want her to be.
True. You just hit on why AEW is so great, because AEW lets those people run the show. They see, here's what I want. It's basically and I don't know how this goes, but I can see it. I can see it in what's going on there. They go, okay, here's what we want to get to. I don't care how you get there. You decide how to get there, because you're better at doing this than I am. Maybe not. I don't know. Tony Khan may be a fucking genius. It actually seems that way, but I really don't think so. I think he just knows, like some of the best sports teams have managers that come in and they say, okay, I'm going to hire the best people and I'm going to get the fuck out of their way so they can do what I'm hired to do. Great philosophy. If you can trust someone to do something and you don't have to feed it to them, it's going to work better for them because they know what they're doing. They know when it's time to do certain things. They know when it's time to say certain things. They work together to come up with something. And there's probably road agents. A couple of the guys probably say, hey, how about you try this or you do that? I bet largely the story is theirs because it shows the things that they're doing are great. And in WWE, it's quite the opposite. You see a lot of the things that are cookie cutter, formulaic. I see a lot of, like, when they took over, when NXT went to NXT 2.0, now I'm starting to see people come out and, like, the dude that comes out and chase you. He's like a scholastic guy. I've seen that so many times. There's been so many of those. It's just somebody looks at somebody and goes, yeah, you're that guy. You ain't going to come out and just chase you. Get it going. All right, let's go. It shows that they don't have any trust in them.
Yeah. And, I mean, I get some of that from the perspective of NXT it's developmental.
I want to say something to clarify. If someone looks at what I just said, and said, hey, that person in the chase you picked that gimmick, that's fucking bad, bro. Okay. That's cool that you picked it, but it's fucking bad. And somebody should have said, that's kind of bad. Why don't you pick something else?
Yeah.
But not say, hey, that's bad, do this. Just say, that's not working. Okay, we'll give you a little bit to get it over it. If it's not happening, it's not happening. Kind of like somebody said something about Frankie Monet, and they said it was a big Twitter war. They said it's horrible that WWE made her be Frankie Monet, and then she tweeted, "It's like, really? Because I picked that."
Yeah, that was the name that she picked out.
That was her deal. Cool. I like Frankie Monet.
Yeah.
I don't think that in this case of Taya Valkyrie, the name is what sells it. I think her work and her attitude is what sells it. So,
well, the other thing to say about that is, as you've told me several times in the past, some of the best gimmicks in the business are that person just turned up a notch.
Their personality turned up to max +1. Yep.
Right. And so if you're shoving somebody into a personality that they're nothing like, it's going to be super bad, like, because they're never gonna, it's like being told that you're not gonna live up to your sister's like academic achievements. Well, no, because I'm me and that's her. Like that, I'm never gonna fit that role because that's not.
Personal trauma aside, the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
But that's never gonna be that person. Because you can't be another person.
And you'll drive yourself crazy trying.
Right.
And you'll get frustrated, and you'll go to AEW, and they'll treat you right, and they'll end up taking a large viewership share from you and become a legitimate threat to a long-standing tradition that you're not fulfilling anymore. Although WWE's long-standing tradition is kind of find the people that work and then exploit the ones that don't. I'm not going to name any names or anything like that. Just sometimes they get lucky and their whole entire roster fills up with the people that they can do stuff with. What's next?
My next note is about the lack of punishment for people when they do things after a bell ends or a bell rings or the match ends. Because in this particular case, this was for the tag team tournament that they had on Raw. And somebody came out and interfered in it, and it actually made them pause the tournament, which, fine, that's fine. But that person that came out and interfered and stuff, or actually in this case, it was the people just wouldn't let the people that won go, and they just kept trying to hurt them. I don't understand not fining those people, or I mean, at least acting like you're going to punish them in some way. Oh, that tag team is not allowed on the show for the next 3 weeks or something like that.
You mean treat it like a legitimate sporting competition?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know why they don't do that either. I don't know why that's not a thing. I mean, treat it like a legit. I mean, the other day when they were doing the draft, they had a ticker down at the bottom like a real sports show at WWE.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. You're going to be like a real sports show with a ticker at the bottom for your draft, but you're not going to be like a real competition sports show because you've got people that are bringing animated dolls to the ring and shit like that. So somebody tries to put an Alka-Seltzer tab in their mouth to foam at the mouth, but can't get enough juice up to do it. I'm not allowed to talk about the girl wrestlers.
I mean,
I can only comment on you talking about them. So
it's in my notes.
Oh, it's in your. Okay,
it's in my
we'll
notes.
Get to it again. I'll wait for my opportunity.
Okay. So
women wrestlers. Sorry about the girl wrestlers.
I have
identify as women wrestlers too. I'm sorry about that as well.
I have trouble with calling people girls. Grown women, girls. I've done it my whole life, and I even struggle with that one.
I know. I'm 46. We've done it all. We've done it for 46 years. You're gonna have to give me at least 20.
Yeah.
To catch back up, and I'll be dead by then. So.
Okay, so this one is about a
dinosaur?
A dinosaur, yeah.
All right. Luchasaurus.
Obviously AEW. No. It is AEW, but it's not
Luchasaurus.
It's not about Luchasaurus. Okay. It was cool seeing the crowd get into matches as a whole because you can see them cheering and applauding. The opposite of the WWE effect,
right. where you're hearing the crowd reaction, but the camera's panning around and you're seeing the crowd reaction and it matches. It almost feels weird. Like it's like how did they doctor this? Well, they didn't.
Yeah,
you're getting that with the beginning of Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega was nuts.
Yes, it was.
That entire place was on their feet wanting it to happen, and I wanted it to happen. It made me sit up and pay attention and viewing it at home. And quite honestly, I don't really like Kenny Omega the way that he carries himself when he's wrestling a lot, because he does a lot of crazy hand gestures and stuff that I'm like, if I was in the ring and somebody came in and they were trying out and they started doing that, it's like, whoa, what the fuck are you doing with your hands? What the fuck is that? Oh, the crowd's into it. Anyway, but when he started that match, I got a lot more respect for him because the way he handled the psychology of the match. It takes a fine eye to see, but I saw it. And Bryan Danielson too. I mean, come on, that's good. That's good stuff.
He's good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was a very good match. I remember I watched it too. It was very good.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was at the beginning of the show and you weren't asleep yet.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, if you put something on, if you want me to watch something, you should put it on at the beginning of the show, not at the end of the show.
Right.
And certainly not at the 10 o'clock show on Friday, because I'm not making it that long.
And not if you make it 2 hours long. You're not making it to the end of that show. All right. So my next note is simply Maxwell Jerkoff Friedman. I need to know what about him.
I think that we were just calling him that because of who.
Or did somebody else call him that? Did somebody on the show call him that?
It might have been.
I think somebody else called him on that on the show. Kind of like Kenny No Balls Omega.
Oh,
when he said that, I was like, I tweeted, that's going to stick. Yeah. And it did. And I'm surprised there's not a shirt yet.
Oh, there will be.
Okay. Yeah, so I think somebody called him Maxwell Jerkoff Friedman, and you were like, yes, and you just wrote it down.
Well, here, I'll go, because I have another note about MJF.
Okay.
And so we'll just go ahead and go to that note, and then I'll go back.
Okay.
So my other note about MJF is everybody agrees MJF is a real life asshole, correct? Like grade A maximum level, right? I just can't imagine that he is that good of an actor. Like that's my specific note.
Well, you remember how I said, and other people have said, I can't take credit for this because I didn't make it up. I heard it somewhere, and I was like, fucking yeah, that's correct, because I weigh what people are like backstage versus what they're like on the stage, and I see that it's kind of true. It's some of the best people they just take their personality and they turn it up to 11, and that is true. But also, somebody takes that filter and removes it, and that works as well. When you have the thought in your head of sassy shit to say, and if you don't have that filter that stops it from coming out, sometimes that is entertainment. I don't have the filter, so I say shit that is funny, that gets me in trouble so much, but I don't have that filter, so it's good. And if you take that out and you turn that up, if you get to the point where you realize like, I don't really, okay, I know I just said something horrible. I have a dark sense of humor, and if I said some of the things I say to you to make you laugh should never be repeated outside of our walls. I would never say it in front of anybody else. I would say it in front of her because I know she knows I'm kidding, that it's a joke. And I like the look on her face when she's trying not to laugh because she doesn't want to go to hell.
And by the way, for as dark as his sense of humor is, mine is even darker.
Yeah, that's why I try to make her embrace that side of her and laugh. So if he's one of those people that just has that side to him, that snarky side to him, and he just takes the politeness out of it, pulls the fucking plug and lets it go, maybe that's what's going on too. So maybe he's not a jerk. Maybe he's a great guy. I've never seen anything. The only things I've ever seen him in, like in documentaries and stuff, it's literally I see him walking behind the stage. Like he'd wrestle. I saw a documentary on Vice, and they were showing deathmatch stuff, and he was walking through behind stuff. I was like, God, MJF was in CZW? I didn't know that. I've never seen him like talk in a kayfabe kind of way, or I haven't seen him talk except for a kayfabe kind of way.
Yeah, I don't think but
maybe it's not. Maybe he's a fucking jerk. Either way, it's entertaining, so I'm good with it.
I mean, even so, like a lot of them on their Twitter accounts and stuff, they are them. They're them. They're real life them.
Oh, I wanted to say something and I forgot about the Becky Lynch thing where I was saying she's talking too much. The best thing that she did wasn't even on the microphone that night. Is when WWE tweeted that they were going to have that three-way dance, and she tweeted, and she quote tweeted it and said, "I didn't agree to this shit."
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's perfect. That was great.
So,
but then she said it 1,500 times in the same way.
Yeah. So sometimes, like when Carmella is tweeting, she's not Carmella, she's Leah.
Yeah.
Just like when they do when her and Corey / Matt do their podcast, mm-hmm. they're Matt and Leah. They're not Corey and Carmella. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the times you get to see their real side, not just their wrestler side. I have never seen, like even on Twitter MJF does not break kayfabe. That dude is always like that. He even on social media one time, I believe, told Sammy. Yeah, I was just gonna say Sammy.
Okay.
So he said something about like his dead grandfather, and I was like, bro, no,
dude. No, on the one hand, if that was real, it makes for some interesting matches, but on the other hand, what the fuck?
Right. And speaking of Sammy,
okay,
my next note is Sammy cue cards.
That's the only way you can get me to watch picture in picture. And it's not because somebody gave me a bunch of shit the other day because every match they have goes to picture in picture, and I hate it. I would rather just go straight to the advertisements.
Yes. Because
I can't divide my attention between the two. So I'm frustrated that I can't watch the match because I'm drawn to the ads. And I don't care that the ads are there. I think somebody was taking the point that I didn't want them to have ad revenue, and I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is putting the wrestling at the bottom corner is an irritant to me because I can't pay attention to the wrestling like I want to because the ads are there. But when you make me watch and read, I'll flip back and I'll read what's happening. So that's the only way to get me to not pay attention to the ads if I'm paying attention to the cue cards.
Yes, I agree. And they're entertaining.
Yeah, they're entertaining. He is very entertaining.
He even when he doesn't speak, he has a very entertaining vibe. Like you want to watch him do things.
Yeah, now he's the TNT champion. So
there you go.
Cool. Congratulations, Sammy Guevara.
Yes.
It's well deserved. Kid's good.
My next note is Adam Cole versus Tony Schiavone because that's just been hilarious. They're even doing things on Twitter. Like Britt Baker tweeted a picture of her and Tony hugging, and Tony was facing the camera, and Adam Cole replied to it with just a bunch of dots. And she replied to him with like a question mark, and he zoomed in on Tony's face, and Tony's just standing there cheesing to the camera, like super, like just cheesing because he's hugging her. And
I watched the one interview where he said I'm gonna steal his girl.
Yeah. So I'm finding it very funny because you don't normally have, like, you've got the banter of the commentators saying crap about the wrestlers and everything going on, but you don't normally have like a rivalry
with the commentator.
So
or an announcer or interviewer. Yeah.
So it's been been entertaining me really well, and not just while I'm watching wrestling, but also on social media. And I mean, it's obviously not real, because if it was super real, then it would have been happening while Adam was like, unless they went, okay, well, now that we're all on the same show, we can be public with this. Because when Adam Cole was on NXT, that was still happening. Like, there was an episode where they went to the spa together. Britt, Rebel, and Tony all were at the spa together. And so I feel like if there was a real rivalry there, that would have triggered at that point on social media. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, that was before the friendship. That was when she was bringing him along. That was before the official friendship where Tony reciprocated and was like, yeah, I'm a Britt Baker fan. But it was shortly before that. Now, not to say that you're wrong. You're right. But when you say it's obviously not true, I'm like, are you sure? And you know why I'm doing that? Because isn't it funner to not know?
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it better to not know how the magician does the trick? Isn't it better to think that it may be true or not true and you don't really know? Isn't I want to give you a word, kayfabe? Isn't that a better way to do things? And Adam Cole, he has it in him. Adam Cole, Pat McAfee. That whole thing, people thought that was fucking real. And
I mean, they were both playing it really well, though.
Even when you think about it, even if you think about how it went, you can still say maybe there was something a little bit there, maybe there wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it was a big ruse to pull one over, and everybody says Hunter orchestrated it, and I'm not sure, because I think Pat McAfee and Adam Cole could have planted that and said, hey, that's what we're going to do. I also think Tony Schiavone, coming from old school, Tony Schiavone's been in wrestling years. Tony Schiavone was in wrestling back before you could say If somebody in a bar said it was fake, you had to fight them.
Yeah.
And the promoter would come bail you out for the show the next day if you had to.
Also, I think I've said this before, but if you're talking to me, never say wrestling is fake.
Yeah. She feels really strongly about it. So I'll just probably go, okay. Somebody in the room that's actually been injured to wrestling I would probably say, sure.
Yeah, but being married to the person that is injured from wrestling, it's not okay for you to say that about it.
Who's that? He sounds awesome.
He is.
That's great.
He's amazing. You should meet him.
I've met him before. He's kind of a dick. Anyway.
Super Brutality is basically RK Bro, but the female version.
Cool.
No
comment.
But Rhea does seem more interested in helping Nikki than Randy does in helping Riddle. Not now. They're getting along pretty well now when they're on the show.
We got a bug. Oh, no. Assassin!
And right this second, Randy's not on the show. But so it's just weird. They were like, oh, hey, the Riddle Orton thing is working really well. Let's make it female now. And then made Super Brutality.
Because I can comment, because you talked about it, I don't like Nikki Ash. I like Nikki Cross. I don't like Nikki Ash. It's the Hurricane rewarmed. Just like I said for the NXT 2.0, they take some of these people and they rehash that. And I know it was Nikki's idea.
Yes.
But
well, and are you supposed to say Nikki Ash or are you supposed to say Nikki ASH? Because
I'm never going to say Nikki ASH.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
Okay. I mean, at work, I come home speaking in abbreviations, so
yeah, Friggity, Figgity.
I do that all the time.
Fuck my butt. So I don't know what that one is. I don't remember that screen.
That one's not a screen.
You sure?
Yes, I'm positive that that's not one of the screens.
I may have missed opportunities then. Next.
You cannot leave that in.
I gotta cut that out?
Yeah.
Do I though? Didn't say anything actually happened.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead next. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This one is just a note from me to the whole internet community.
Okay.
Mandy Rose looks fucking amazing as a brunette. Just, oh my God, my jaw hit the floor when she walked out as a brunette. It was. I can't figure out why she was ever blonde. She looks so much better as a brunette.
I can just agree and then say no comment because I agree. But I don't want to comment further. It's almost there should be a plea that I could take. Like I plead the 5th. I have to plead the 29th. That may actually be an amendment. I have to plead the 536th. I know there's not an amendment that I refuse to comment on the grounds that someone might think I'm a misogynist or a sexist. That's the world we live in today.
So now I'm back to AEW.
Okay, cool. Because there was shows.
This one was only like 2 weeks ago.
Okay. We're almost up to present day. It's only going to be 2 hours long.
This one's another one about Adam Cole, but he seems way more confident on AEW and relaxed than he did on NXT. And he his attitude seems to remind me now of how he is when he's streaming on Twitch. Just a lot more humble on Twitch because he's always very thankful for everybody that follows him on Twitch and that, subscribes and everything. So he's super humble, which he's not going to be humble on wrestling because, I mean, that's not Adam Cole's character on stage. But he seems more confident and more relaxed. And it could just be the fact that he's surrounded by friends, but...
Well, he's moved from asshole heel to cocky heel. Yeah. And it fits him better.
Agreed.
Not saying that that's his attitude, not saying anything like that. I think it just comes off better for being a cocky, arrogant, brash. If you're making wrestling a competition, you can be a jerk in competition. You can't be a jerk in real life. That's why these real life storylines make me sick. When they're like, well, I'm going to your house. First of all, Seth Rollins went to your house. The first thing we're supposed to believe is Seth Rollins went to do a B&E and said, hey, cameraman, come with me. And everybody's like, cool. That didn't happen. Secondly, if Beth Phoenix was in that house, she'd have handed out Skinny Boy's ass.
Right? I was thinking the same thing.
Edge doesn't have to say, get the kids, run somewhere else. I'm getting somebody and somebody. I don't know who the two names that he dropped. I don't know who it was. But Beth Phoenix was like, where? Tell me where he is. I'll go kick the shit out of him. Yeah. Get out of my lounger. The fuck's wrong with you? Get out of my house. Let's be real. Beth Phoenix, Hall of Famer. Seth Rollins, not.
Right.
Come on. I'm not supposed to. I understand what they're trying to do, but how do I believe that?
Right.
How do I get into that? And I'm not the only one. Look at fucking Twitter for 7,000 examples of somebody saying this exact same thing I just said. Beth Phoenix would have just handed him in his ass. She'd have took that apple core off the floor, stuffed up his ass, and threw him out on his fucking duff.
I'm going to skip a couple of these. We've kind of already talked about a couple of them. Lily got destroyed by Charlotte Flair, right? It was Charlotte, right? Yeah. And Alexa put a Alka-Seltzer tablet in her mouth to...
Yeah, subtly ducked her head under the...
Alka-Seltzer tablet in her mouth added to your shopping list.
Oh, God, I hope that the microphone picked that up.
Alka-Seltzer tablet in her mouth added to your shopping list. I have to see the shopping list to see what it thinks that is.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Anyway, she put the tablet in her mouth. Let's just call her she for the time being.
Right. Well, no, we can just call her Bliss.
Bliss. Yeah, she put the Alka-Seltzer tablet in her mouth. Subtly ducked her head under some stuff. I thought she was gigging. I thought she was doing the old pop and twist. She did not do that. She got an Alka-Seltzer tab, and it was meant. She started slobbering down her face like she was trying to get it to catch on and foam at the mouth. I know what she was doing. Ridiculous. But what I wanted to say about it is it's sad because Alexa Bliss has the total package. She's small. That's the only thing you can say for her that's a negative in traditional professional wrestling, which isn't too much of an issue anymore. She has a really good work rate. She tells a story in the ring. Everything's good. She can kick ass on the mic. One of the only people that I know of that I've seen beat the what chant, but she's so good. So good. Heel or otherwise, so good. And this gimmick is so bad. It offsets the good. It's sad. It's almost a mockery.
Yeah.
And I don't know who picked it. I don't know if she picked it. Well, Bray Wyatt picked it. I like how some people's gimmicks get brought up to the main roster. Happy Corbin. And Happy Corbin is Cameron Grimes. Yeah. It's the same fucking gimmick. He's just happy. Well, Cameron Grimes is fucking happy.
And I want to point out that Cameron Grimes pulls it off a hell of a lot better than Baron Corbin does.
Yeah, I don't like Happy Corbin. I like broke ass Corbin better.
Yeah.
And whoever Madcap Moss is, he should go back to whatever he was doing, or they should give him a better gimmick. Maybe he's a good wrestler. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But Bray Wyatt left and forgot his gimmick, and Alexa picked it up, and she's kind of doing it. It's different. I'm going to give you that. It's a little different than the Fiend. Not much different, but a little different than the Fiend. And they've stopped doing the voodoo shit. So okay.
Well, he kind of had to.
And now I read something the other day that she's taking a break to have nasal surgery or something like that. Hope that everything goes well with that. And I hope when she comes back, maybe she's Alexa Bliss again and not this half Fiend Joker Harley mix. Because I don't think I think that if you're doing an homage to that, it doesn't really need it.
Yeah.
I don't think it really needs it. It's still everywhere.
Especially in this house.
It's up there, a lot up there. We'll show that. That's what I wanted to say about that.
If there was better light outside of this table,
you see
be able to see it right over there. Yep. Okay, and so I'll go ahead and say this. At Extreme Rules, Liv looked extremely hot.
I can't comment on that.
I mean, you could.
I can agree, and I'll agree.
Let's see. So this we're actually on this week.
Holy shit! It probably took us a week to get here.
Right. So this is Raw from Monday.
Okay.
And it was, and my note is that the opening match seemed to show that they're trying to kick it up a bit, which is nice because
they're taking a cue from their competition.
Yes.
That they don't think is competition by starting the night off with a main event quality match, which is the Bobby Lashley versus Big E.
Yes.
And I liked it.
Yep.
I really like the format where they're starting off with a hot match. In WWE's case, it pales because it seemed like they just okay, we'll do that, but we're going to do it to set up a main event. I don't like that. Why don't you just have that at the beginning and get the crowd going really really quick? But it's not for me. It's for everybody, and if everybody likes it, cool. But I think that the ratings will show you that everybody doesn't like it. The losing the people in the ratings for that kind of thing. And Bobby Lashley should be a major player, and they're keeping him that. So cool.
My next question we've kind of touched on already, but why do they completely change NXT gimmicks when the wrestlers move to the main roster, especially when the ones they have work really well and don't clash with someone else's?
As I said, if you want to change Karrion Kross, don't put him in gladiator gear. Change his fucking goofy-ass gimmick. Not gimmick. His goofy-ass finisher. I mean, this is far superior than this. This doesn't make any fucking sense. This is peacocking.
So I have my notes about the draft.
Okay.
I actually
let's go.
Have the list.
Like one pick. We'll see if we have anything to say about it. You say something, and if you've got something to say, say it. If I got something to say, I'll say it. We'll just talk about who got drafted.
Okay.
So round one.
Round one, SmackDown got Roman, of course.
They had Roman, so yeah.
And number one.
And that's what you do. You pick the Universal Champion, number one. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Why does SmackDown get the first pick? I don't know, but go ahead.
Raw got Big E.
Why wouldn't you pick your most prominent? Yep.
SmackDown got Charlotte. Raw, however, got Bianca Belair.
See, is Becky not eligible or what? Because when you're talking about, hey, we're going right off the bat, you're booking a draft for telling a story, not for making sense. Because it would make sense to draft Becky if she was available. I don't know if she is or not.
Right, and I don't know either because here's the thing. She didn't get picked at all last night.
Okay.
Like, she wasn't in any of the rounds.
So it'll be good if they don't pick her. Next Monday, if they don't pick her, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Because that means that she wasn't eligible and she wasn't eligible to change anywhere, and that's cool. I can get into that. I understand.
So round two, SmackDown picked Drew. Raw got RK Bro.
Oh yeah, because they get them. They can draft tag teams. Okay.
Yes. SmackDown got New Day.
Wait,
Raw.
and Big E got traded to Raw. And
so they swapped.
New Day got traded to SmackDown.
Yeah, they swapped.
Certainly seems to be raining shit on New Day.
Right.
I like it.
Raw got Edge.
Raw got Edge. Okay. Cool.
And he was on SmackDown, so that's a change.
And that makes a good thing to get him away from Roman Reigns because you're not going to let him beat Roman Reigns. Right. So that works.
So this next one, the first pick of the third round, pisses me off because there's so much better talent.
Are you talking about, is it Dominic and Rey Mysterio?
Nope.
Okay, just a guess.
It's Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss.
Oh, the team that's been together for a week.
One episode.
Yeah, for
one
week.
episode.
Madcap Moss. I still don't get that. Okay. And he told jokes. It's like tell jokes. Okay, I'll tell 2 short ones and 1 long one. Joke.
Yeah.
Much better timing. I didn't do it justice. Joke. I still can't do it. I've got better timing than he does.
Well, it was not a good joke to begin with.
Okay. I think that's the point.
I know. Raw got Rhea and Nikki, so Super Brutality.
Okay. Which doesn't really fucking matter because they fight on any brand. So.
Right. As long as they're tag team champs, they can.
Yeah, if they lose tag team champ, then they go to their. Okay. But that doesn't matter either because they're doing that. It doesn't matter.
This one also makes me very upset that this was in round 3 just because it's super high for this.
Okay.
But it's Hit Row.
That makes me upset for a different reason. I think they needed to stay in NXT. I think they needed to grow a little bit more. I think they needed. I mean, I think they were stagnating with Legado del Fantasma, but I think they needed to stay because they were the best thing that was going on in NXT for a little while, especially with you changing everything and some of your big players moving out. I think they should have stayed on. I think they should have stayed and built a little bit. I think if you bring them up to SmackDown,
Yeah.
SmackDown. I think if you bring them up to SmackDown and you try to treat it the same way as you did on NXT, it's not going to work as well.
Yeah.
And I hope that I'm wrong because that's good. I like that. It's fresh almost.
Yeah, I think
it's some of the workers need a little.
Yeah, I don't think that I think that the gimmick is great. I think that the workers needed more time in developmental.
Yeah, maybe not Swerve. Swerve's
is
pretty
okay.
good.
Yeah.
Top Dollar, from what I saw of him, was pretty good. The other kid did decent. B-Fab needs work.
Yes.
A lot of work.
Yes.
But I mean, for a feat, I can't say that.
No, just
next.
let it go. I'm not even going to say that one.
Moving on.
Raw got Keith Bearcat Lee.
Because that's what was wrong with your booking of Keith Lee was his middle name.
round 4, I love the fact that they're pulling Sonya Deville back into wrestling because of her beef with Naomi. So round 4, the first pick for SmackDown was Naomi.
And it was announced in the most passive aggressive, not even aggressive, shitty way possible.
Yeah.
Little much, but okay. I'll give it to you.
I'm happy that, because I can tell that they're getting ready to pull her back into wrestling.
If she only worked on SmackDown, that'd be one.
Right.
Not Naomi. I mean, if Sonya Deville only worked on SmackDown is one thing. She doesn't. She works on Raw too. Yeah. So either way, it's the same to her. Her being upset is ridiculous.
So I'm happy that she's getting pulled back to become a wrestler again instead of just management.
Is that happening?
It has to be. They wouldn't be starting it they wouldn't be doing it this.
Well, she did challenge her to a match, and they are teasing it. So if they're doing that, they're doing it well.
Yeah. So Raw got Rey and Dominic Mysterio.
Last time, it seems like Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio get traded every time there's a draft. And I think it's because they're looking to freshen up some kind of storyline that isn't there. I think that if they keep building towards Rey Mysterio versus Dominic in a match, that can be good. And I think that that's probably going to happen. I read somewhere that Rey Mysterio denied a match against Dominic, saying that he didn't want to do it that way. He didn't want to pass the torch that way. He just wanted to give him his mask when he retired. That's kayfabe to me, that he's setting it up, that he's weaving a masterful spell behind the scenes.
Right.
And I like it. Let's go for that. I'm for that. If it's true, it's sad.
SmackDown got Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
So he's moving from Raw.
I disagree with Jeff Hardy going behind Dominic and.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with.
I disagree with him going behind Hit Row. I disagree. Jeff Hardy is very accomplished, and he should have been higher on the draft.
Yeah, there's several people that I am upset didn't get drafted last night that should have before some of these. We got
another draft, so who knows?
I know, but before some of these people, because there's way better talent than some of the things that got drafted.
And there's 3 hours of SmackDown, so there's probably 17 more rounds.
They said that they were halfway done, which means that there's only 8 rounds total, but that doesn't seem right because that's only 3 times 8 is 24.
Okay.
So that means that they've only got 24 wrestlers and or tag teams
that are being transferred. Or that have the ability to be transferred, I guess.
Final pick for Raw last night was Austin Theory.
I like Austin Theory.
That was the end of the SmackDown draft.
Okay.
So we do have more rounds. They did say halfway done, but again, the math doesn't jive with me for that. Yeah. So I'm hoping that they have more picks than just 8, or more rounds than just 8 total.
Oh.
But we'll figure that out.
Or they may actually include more picks in the rounds.
Maybe. That's true.
This round consists of 5 picks instead of 4.
Or 6.
Or 6.
I would imagine it would have to be 6.
Who knows? Doesn't matter.
Although it would make way more sense for them to have more wrestlers on Raw than they do on SmackDown, since Raw is an extra hour long. But
yeah, I think it actually speaks well to how predictable and boring your shit has become when the average layperson can see that you're drafting for storylines.
Oh, yeah.
And we're saying this person goes to here, but this person's going to follow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also the relationships that exist between the wrestlers. So, like, if Bianca moves to Raw, then I have to assume Street Profits are going with her.
True.
Because, there's a
you don't want to break up a family.
Yeah, there's a couple.
That's actually been said that's what they do, is they try to keep them on the same brand so they can travel together. And
I'm assuming, my assumption is Carmella will get traded to Raw too, because Corey's no longer announcing for SmackDown. So I that's my prediction. Most of my predictions are based around family. So as we watch this, the fact that Naomi is going to SmackDown, isn't she married to one of...
Yeah, she's married to one of the Usos.
I
think Jimmy.
So to me, that means that they're staying on... I mean, they were going to stay on SmackDown anyway, let's be real. They're not going to break the Usos away from Roman Reigns after
they haven't been...
I know they haven't been drafted yet.
It's the story.
I know that's the story.
Paul was all broken up about it. He was crying.
But...
I don't know if you've seen Heels on Stars. If you haven't, by the way, you should check that out.
Yes.
If you ever wondered what a real life wrestling locker room was like, that is a very good depiction of my experience in locker rooms, with the glaring exception of one episode. One of the big guys told everybody, "Hey, now you guys need to clear out because I'm gonna take a shit and it's going to be really nasty. No wrestler would tell you to bail when he does that. He'd be like, I'm just going to go in here and stink this place up and see what everybody says. But yeah, it's a pretty good depiction of how it goes backstage. It really is. Even the ridiculous parts where you're like, this kid's doesn't know how to separate himself from his character, which is kind of the main story that goes on there. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's really hard for people to do that. I can't lose. My mom is out there. You can lose. That's your point. That's the point of you. If you were going on the fucking stage and you were playing Caesar, you're like, I can't get stabbed 46 times. My mom's in the crowd. Caesar got stabbed 46. Fuck off. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So
I digress.
Right. So yeah, I think that families, they do tend to go together so that they can travel together, especially when there's kids involved and all of that.
Sure.
So wherever Seth ends up, Becky will end up.
Yep.
If they're part of the.
You should end up in jail, but okay.
Right. Or again, even if it doesn't involve any kind of actual like law enforcement.
Should be a fine.
There should be some
suspension.
kind of fine or suspension or something that makes it look like they're being punished. Because if you
even if you just kayfabe it and say it's money,
right, and if somebody that I work with came over to my house and
not recommended.
No, and just broke in,
and definitely not recommended.
Yes, but if that happened, I'd take that to HR and it would be dealt with. Mm-hmm. Like, again, I would also call the police, but so law enforcement would also be involved.
I would Beth Phoenix their ass.
My point is that there are consequences and there should
Is that your
be
rant?
consequences. No.
Are you going to rant?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to rant now?
I want you to rant now.
Okay.
Okay. This is Sheila's rant. We'll make a graphic for this as well. It's been a while since I've tried to break out the old Adobe Illustrator, or not Illustrator, After Effects skills or whatever I would use to make a transition. So I'll make a transition for this. I'll also make a girl hour transition. So you can have a segment, talk about all the girl wrestling, women's wrestling. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's time for misogyny.
So my first thing is not part of this note, but I do want to point this out. So part of it leaks from my last rant about the guys and their makeup. And the answer to that is not to paint more of your body so that there's more grease paint everywhere. Like, don't do that. Stop doing that. Just fix it. Find a way to fix it.
And if you think it can't be done, Finn Balor did it.
Right. Finn Balor did a great job on his as the demon because it just started to like pill toward the end of the match. It was great. So yay, Finn Balor. Boo to Darby Allin for painting he painted half his face, half of his torso, and his arm, and it was just gone within seconds of the match starting. So that's my first part of my rant. My second thing is the stupid ass mask and match between Carmella and Liv last night.
Yeah, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I have no idea. So Carmella is like, you're not going to hurt my face again. And she goes and gets a cloth mask. And you can clearly tell, because she adjusts it, you can clearly tell it is a cloth mask. It's not going to protect shit. As a matter of fact, it would probably be pressing stuff down enough to where it would do extra damage somehow.
I apologize for this in advance, but it has to be said. It just made her look like the Elephant Man. It really made her look like the Elephant Man because it extended every feature that she had, and it made everything look crazy underneath.
Yeah.
So.
And then.
Or Rocky Dennis.
Yeah.
From that movie Mask.
Yes, Mask. Yeah. So the other thing was the fact that this was supposed to be a match. Like, Carmella came out, there was a ref, then Liv came out, everybody had an entrance. Carmella gets out, puts this stupid ass mask on, gets back in the ring, and does a move to Liv. The ref jumps out of the ring, and then Carmella's just standing over Liz like she won something when there wasn't even a match. There was no pin, there was nothing.
Right.
What the fuck happened?
And the referee is actually, you can see at the end of it, the referee's on the outside looking into the ring going like, I think that he knows what's going on, but he's just like, he's just outside. There was no pinfall, nothing happened. It's just the match just ended. Like it was a interview segment. But no, they announced that it was a match. There was a referee and everything, and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and then they just rolled into the next round of draft.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, that's perfectly normal. Let's just keep going with the show.
Yep.
It was so dumb. Yep. It was so dumb.
Cool.
And those are two of my favorite people. Like,
Liv and Carmella, yeah.
Yeah, they're two of my favorite people on the shows and on WWE. I don't get it. It just makes them look like makes them look like clowns. Like
Well, the mask kind of made her look like a clown too.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Her putting the mask on and protecting her face was more important to them than them actually having a match. How is that correct?
It's not. It shouldn't be.
It's competition. Right. I joined you in that rant. The dog is upset.
Yeah.
Because we're both ranting and
yeah.
he thinks that we're upset with each other and we're not. As a matter of fact, all I see is little ears on it. It's like, Dad, what's going on? Mom, what's going on? It's like, we're cool. It's like, who do I have to bite?
He keeps coming up and putting his nose in my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I joined that rant with you. Maybe we'll separate. Maybe we'll do High Dog. Maybe we'll do half a show and then half a show. I don't know. I'll figure out how to tie this one down. Was that the end? I didn't mean to step on your rant. That was the end. This wasn't as good as a rant as the last one.
No, and that one was because it's been asked that I do the rants now, and so my brain is becoming self-conscious about them. Yeah. But also, you had opinion about some of the stuff that I had opinion about with the rant, so it kind of got split up a little bit.
Yeah, I think when we give you your own segment, it's going to be good. We're going to make you the official cast member as well as the producer, because you got to do both.
Because you don't want to set all that shit up.
Yeah, I don't want to do either. So yeah, I think it'll be good. We'll give you your own thing. We'll get you a nice little transition that we can use. Make it all frilly, rainbows and unicorns, stuff like that.
No, you can make it purple.
There's purple in the rainbow.
You can make, instead of my background color being green, you can make it purple.
Okay.
And you can splatter in other things that I love, but I am not a unicorn rainbow type of person. Not that girly girl.
What about butterflies?
I like butterflies.
Okay, butterflies it is. We'll figure something out.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. I know this one was long. I'm probably going to cut a bunch of it out, make it a little more manageable for people who want to watch it. But it's been a while. We went for a couple months. Didn't want to cancel this one because it's been so long, and we're more than likely going to do at least a little something next week, because we will want to follow up with the draft and keep tabs with AEW, how well they're doing. I'm really enjoying that. Almost everybody on the card I really enjoy. Sheeta's coming back. That's going to be a little bit of a blow to me. I hope that the time off that she's been taking is brushing up on the wrestling skills. Well, all of the bad matches that I've seen in AEW women's matches have involved Sheeta in some way.
Yeah, we've made a joke about it, actually.
Not this Sheeta.
I don't want to see this Sheeta again.
Let's get this Sheeta off my TV.
Honestly, the reason that we went to the bi-weekly thing, other than to give viewers a break, was because we just weren't enjoying things, so we were constantly bitching about stuff. So if we're enjoying things,
I don't know if you listen to this show, but we did a fair amount of bitching.
Oh yeah, but that's just us.
That's true. I think that you should know by now that we're just going to bitch. So this is on you, really.
Yeah.
Really, it's on you. If you got this far, anyway.
Hey, do us a favor. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when we post videos in the future.
We're gonna say this is for you. We're gonna say, hey, this is all for you. The like button, the subscribe button will tell you all the stuff that you need anytime we put out a new video. The bell will actually send you a notification when we do it. But we're bullshitting you, it's for us. And every other YouTuber is bullshitting you, it's for them too. So I want to be honest and straightforward. This is for us, not for you. Just do it. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's been said, you don't even have to watch the fucking video. Start it playing, go in the other room, do dishes, come back, turn it off. It doesn't matter. It gives us views. That's what we're going for. Shameless promotion of please help us with this. That's us. Tell a friend. If your grandma has a computer and she doesn't know how to use it, put our shit on repeat and walk away. Turn the volume down. It doesn't matter. Let's get it going. I'm about to kill my wife. She's got a mouthful of water, and She wasn't expecting me to do that. But that's what I'm saying. I want to be truthful and honest with you. It's not for you. It's for us. You get benefits too, but we really need it. That's what we're looking for. So thank you in advance for doing that. If you don't do it, hey, that's cool too. But at least thank you for getting to this point in the show where we can tell you that. And we'll see you next week.